Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So according to Fabrizio Romano, Paul Pogba will 100% leave Manchester United next summer. Juventus prefer a swap deal if they are to re-sign Paul Pogba in January. And Juventus have offered us Adrian Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey in exchange for Paul Pogba. And it says that Juventus want him for £50 million in January. Now we have said that we will let Paul Pogba go, but we won't let him go on the cheap. And we do want either Adrian Rabiot or Aaron Ramsey as part of the deal. Paul Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Manchester United. There hadn't only been rumours of him going back to Juventus. At one point, he was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid, because don't forget, earlier on this season, he made an admission saying that one day his dream is to join Real Madrid. And he said last year he wanted to leave Manchester United because he's seeking for a new challenge. PSG, Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before. So he has had a long-running transfer saga. Now, earlier on in the season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. So he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. Don't forget, earlier on in the season, he had an ankle injury. Ollie did confirm that ankle injury was totally comparison to the one that he had last season. He was out for the vast majority of last season. Now, Mino Raiola, earlier on this season, told 2O Sport that Paul Pogba's career at Manchester United is over. He said he's unhappy and he has to leave. And he did mention that he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. And then he made, obviously, a fresh statement saying that it's unlikely Paul Pogba will leave in the January transfer window, but he said he can leave next summer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig. But don't forget, earlier on in the season, Paul Pogba spoke about his Man United future for the first time since his agent's comments, and he said that he's always fought and he will always fight for Manchester United, for my teammates and the fans. And he did say he's 1000% involved in our project. This is what Paul Pogba had said. This is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. He has made over 100 appearances for Man United in all competitions. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. That was the Europa League, the League Cup and the EFL Cup. He's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. He did endure a difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era, but so too did all our top players. And we had Pogba when he was younger, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. To Paul Pogba's credit, he has done well since he's come back from that ankle injury. Now, obviously, he didn't start the game against Leicester. He did very, very well against Sheffield United in that 3-2 win. His movement was good and he played a part in one of the goals. He also did well in the Manchester City game earlier on in the season, despite that being a 0-0 draw. He did well when he came on against RB Leipzig, got his name on the score sheet. Scored in the 3-1 win against West Ham earlier on in the season. That was his first start in the Premier League for over a month against West Ham. And he's enjoyed a couple of good periods at Manchester United. But analysing the vast majority of his career at Man United since he rejoined, he has been inconsistent, let's be honest. Don't forget, during the last international break, he made quite a few comments saying like this season's been the most difficult period in his career. And he was saying like playing for France is a breath of fresh air. And he was talking about his struggles at Man United this season in general. But reflects on them comments, he did receive a lot of criticism. So that's the breaking news on Paul Pogba. Now I want to delve into some news on Jadon Sancho. So Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is back on. He says we are in pole position to get him because we came close to getting Sancho in the summer. He was our number one priority target. Dortmund said that they wanted £108 million during the summer transfer window. We wasn't willing to meet their valuation. Now, it did say, didn't it, that we had agreed the personal terms and it said that the agent fees had been agreed. It said that a contract had been agreed, but we just couldn't come to an agreement on an actual fee. So that was the stumbling block. And during the summer, Borussia Dortmund made it clear that we had until the 10th of August to get Jadon Sancho on the board, and we obviously missed out on that deadline. Fabrizio Romano, he was talking about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga quite a few times during the summer. So too were Bild's Christian Falk. And I think Sancho said a few times during the summer that he wanted to come to Manchester United. The likes of Michael Zorg and Sebastian Kell did say during the summer that Sancho would remain at Borussia Dortmund. Now, earlier on this season, Borussia Dortmund sacked Lucien Favre because they lost 5-1 at home to Stuttgart. This is Sancho's fourth season at Dortmund. He hasn't been that consistent this season. Let's be honest. He did make an admission earlier on this season saying it has been hard this season. But analysing the vast majority of his career at Dortmund, he has been very, very consistent. Dortmund only paid £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. I think he's under contract with Dortmund. Is it till 2022 or 2023? The main explanation he left Manchester City is because he didn't get assured any first team opportunities. Before he was at City, he was at Watford. He was at Watford from the age of 7 to the age of 14. But a few clubs were in for him during the summer, not only us, Liverpool were in for him. It said Chelsea were in for him. I think Manchester City inquired about getting him on the board. We was willing to offer him the number 7 shirt. So there's a good chance we could sign Jadon Sancho next year. So that's the breaking news on him. Like I've said in general, there is a lot of players on our agenda. We've already revealed our transfer plans. We're looking to strengthen up in 4 positions. We're looking to recommend a right winger in. We're looking to recommend a holding midfielder in. We're looking to recommend a centre-half in. And we're looking to recommend a right-back in. Actually, Solskjaer's made a new centre-back his number one transfer priority. Gary Neville has told Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to think carefully about his January transfer plans. Jack Grealish, he's obviously back on our agenda now. David Alaba has been on our agenda in recent weeks, but now it's saying it's unlikely we'll get David Alaba. Do you think we could go in for Dayot Upamecano next year? We know at the end of the season he's going to be available for around £36 million. Erling Haaland, we could go in for him next year, but like I've already mentioned, his move to Man United is complicated because of Mino Raiola's poor relationship with Manchester United. You already know the news on Moises Caicedo. It says that Moises Caicedo would love to come to Manchester United. And it says we have control over the January signing. He did say that he does love Kante. That's one admission he did make, but he wants to come to Man United, definitely. It recently said that he was undergoing his medical and he's set to sign a 5-year contract with Man United, and we're set to get him for like 4.5 million with add-ons included. It did mention that Chelsea are looking to hijack our move, and Brighton and Newcastle have also been interested in him. Independiente del Val said that they wanted around 5.5 million with add-ons included, and it says they would demand around a 20% sell-on clause. So it says it's looking very, very likely that Moises Caicedo will be our first signing of the January transfer window. We're also going to focus on the outgoings as well as the incomings, because he's still deadwood at the football club that we need to get rid of. So I think next year we'll be looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard doesn't regularly get in our team now, does he? I think he's into the final 6 months of his contract. Don't forget, when he was playing, there was a period where he didn't score 1 goal or 1 assist in the Premier League for over a year. Lingard's been absent from the squad anyway quite a few times because obviously he's had to self-isolate a few times because of COVID. He was injured at one point and he's had personal issues like Solskjaer said not so long ago. Now, the likes of Sheffield have been in for him, said they're interested in getting him on loan. His agent was talking with Real Sociedad a few weeks ago. Celtic, Rangers and Villa have been interested in him. At one point, Tottenham win for him. Now, I'm expecting Odin Ighalo to leave in January when his loan expires. We got Odin Ighalo on deadline day back in January. The main explanation why we recommended him in was to get a cover-up for Marcus Rashford, because obviously at the time Marcus Rashford was out with that back injury. Ighalo doesn't get in the team lot now, but to his credit, he was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup last season. I'm expecting us to offload Phil Jones next year. He seldom plays. I think he's been very inconsistent since he got recommended into the club, to be honest with you, and he has been with us since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. This is Phil Jones' 10th season at Manchester United, I think. He's currently out with injury at the moment, Phil Jones. I think though he's going to be back in January. I think we'll also offload Marcus Rojo next year. He's never really established himself as a first team regular since he came in, Marcus Rojo. And he's been at the club now, he's a good 6 years or so. We got him back in 2014 from Sporting Lisbon. We paid just over £16 million for him. Last season he was out on loan with Estudiantes. I think we'll offload Romero as well next year because Romero is now our third choice goalkeeper. Romero's endured around 5 years or so at the club. Got him on a free from San Pandora back in 2015. We could offload Matic next year. We also could offload Juan Mata next year. There's obviously been rumours of Daniel James going. Brandon Williams, there's been rumours of him going out on loan because he's now our third choice left back following the arrival of Alex Telles, and earlier on in the season there was rumours of Dean Henderson going out on loan. We could also offload Timothy Fosu-Mensah. He seldom plays. Could we offload Eric Bailly? Bailly's a very good centre-half, but he is injury prone. He says we could raise over £30 million in January player sales. But hopefully Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets the backing that he deserves next year. Because during the summer transfer window, he wasn't backed enough by the board. Because we missed out on all of his priority targets, and Solskjaer showed his frustration towards our board a few times during the summer transfer window. And I've said to you, haven't I, before that Solskjaer has been facing the same problem as what Mourinho was facing, because Mourinho made it clear to our board in the summer of 2018 that he wanted a centre-half in, and obviously he never got that centre-half in. And that's one of the main reasons it didn't work out for Mourinho. There was obviously other reasons as well, because he didn't get on with our board in general and he had bad disputes with our top players. And this is why. But the board haven't backed any of the managers that we've had since Ferguson left. So this is one of the main reasons why the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. But Woodward has come out several times to support Solskjaer. You know, despite us having a poor start to the season and despite us getting knocked out of the Champions League. The January transfer window will be Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as Manchester United manager. And obviously he will still be here next year. Solskjaer could still be Man United manager at the end of the season. It depends on how things go from now till the end of the season. We are in a good vein of form at the moment because we are unbeaten in our last 8 games in the league, I think. We've been exceptional away from home. We haven't lost away from home yet in the Premier League this season. You know, if we'd have beaten Leicester at the weekend, that would have been 11 away wins in a row in the Premier League. When we beat Sheffield United a few weeks ago, we became the first team to win 6 successive away games after conceding first in a single Premier League season. Obviously, we haven't been that good at home. We've only won 2 games at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. We beat West Brom 1-0. We was very fortunate to win that. We beat Leeds United 6-2. Our biggest win this season. Probably one of the best games that we've endured this season. You know, Solskjaer has spent over £200 million since he became Manchester United manager. He has made some good signings. We have seen a lot of players leave the club since he got recommended in. I've got to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot of credit as well because he's got us to the Carabao Cup semi-final this season. You know, there is a good chance we could win the Carabao Cup. And it's a priority for us because it's very imperative that we get our first trophy on the board under Solskjaer. You know, we haven't won a trophy now for almost 4 years. We have got Manchester City in the EFL Cup semi-final. That game probably won't be going ahead now because quite a few City players have got COVID. Haven't they? And I give him a lot of credit for what he did in his first full season, which was last season, because he got us 3rd place, the second highest we've finished since the Ferguson era. He got us qualification for the Champions League and he guided us to 3 semi-finals. and he showed tactical flexibility in a lot of the big games. Now, like I've said to you, my concern about Solskjaer is that he is out of his depth at the football club. You can say that we did make a mistake by giving him the job permanently, but we're giving the job permanently, reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. His decision making really concerns me, because there's been a lot of games at Man United where he has made mistakes, and that's obviously cost us. Now, in the 2-2 draw with Leicester, some of his selections were wrong. Obviously, he didn't start Edison Cavani, he didn't start Paul Pogba. I think he was wrong to start Daniel James. Daniel James started on that right against Leicester. I don't know why he put Victor Lindelof at right back either. But they said his substitutions were right in that 2-2 draw against Leicester. Donny van der Beek, he seldom starts in the Premier League. Since he came to the club, he's only started 2 league games as Donny van der Beek. And you can say that Solskjaer hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager, has he? He's gained some managerial experience reflecting how long he's been with us, but before he came to the club, he was at Molde. Yes, he won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and he enjoyed a very short tenure at Cardiff. He got sacked from Cardiff because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. You know what I mean? But Solskjaer, was definitely a great player for the football club. He enjoyed 11 years as a player. And one of his most iconic moments as a player was obviously 1999 when he scored that late winner in the Champions League final to win the club the treble. And the treble's the club's greatest achievement. But yeah, Solskjaer's not under pressure now, obviously, reflecting on our good vein of form, but he has been under pressure quite a few times since he got appointed in as Man United manager. And obviously, Mauricio Pochettino was the favourite to take over at Man United. Pochettino's set to take over now at PSG, because PSG sacked Thomas Tuchel on Christmas Eve. So, reflect on that, that means Solskjaer's here to stay. So Man United must back him. Massimiliano Allegri, he's been on our agenda a couple of times. Earlier on in the season, Julian Nagelsmann was on our agenda, and so too was Thomas Tuchel. Now, I don't know if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right manager for Man United. I just don't know. I've said before he isn't the right manager for Man United, and then I've changed my perception, said maybe he is the right manager for Man United, but he just deserves more time, doesn't he? But we certainly have enjoyed bad periods under him. But we've enjoyed good periods under him. We're enjoying one now. We went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season. We was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. All his priority is leading the club to long-term success. And he has said a couple of times this season that Manchester United can win the Premier League. But then obviously he came out prior to the Leicester game saying that Man United must ignore Premier League title talk. He said you can't talk about a title bid until March. He said that after the 6-2 win against Leeds. You had Roy Keane coming out after the 6-2 win against Leeds saying that Man United can challenge Liverpool for the Premier League title this season. Title number 21 is definitely coming, but I'm just very sceptical that we'll win it this season. I think maybe we could win it next season or maybe the season after. But we are certainly in the title race despite the 2-2 draw with Leicester. I think we're 4th at the moment. If we do beat Wolves tonight, we are 2nd and just 2 points is it behind Liverpool? We haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So we haven't won it now for a good 7.5 years. But this is Ollie's second full season at Man United, and I did say, didn't I, this was always going to be a big season for him. And I said if we can win a trophy this season, if we can finish in the top 4 or the top 3, that would represent a very good season for Man United. then that would give us something to build on. Ollie's managed over 100 games as Manchester United manager in all competitions, and he's got a contract with the club until 2022. Hasn't he? But there is still problems at the club, like I've said. There is problems with our defence because we are still leaking goals. Some people think our goalkeeper's one of the problems because there's been a lot of United fans saying that Dean Henderson should be now number one. And we need better players if we are to be title contenders, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, we have got Wolves tonight at Old Trafford in the Premier League. We should win this game, really, against Wolves, because Wolves haven't been as consistent this season as they have been in recent years. Now, Wolves recently drew to Tottenham 1-1. They scored later on to get a point. But this season, they have beat Arsenal and they have beat Chelsea. Now, we're coming into this game on the back of a 2-2 draw with Leicester. In reality, though, we should have beaten Leicester because, like Solskjaer said, we did have the better of the chances in the game. Now, we played Wolves 4 times across all competitions last season. Both games in the league were draws. It was 0-0 at Old Trafford. That's when Bruno Fernandes made his debut for the club. I think in that game he had the most touches. And it was 1-1 at Molineux. And we played them in the FA Cup. Obviously, it was 0-0. But then obviously it went to a replay and we're beating them 1-0 in the replay. Now, almost a couple of years ago, Wolves beat us twice, didn't they, in a season? They beat us at Molineux 2-1. And they also beat us in the FA Cup quarter-final at Molineux 2-1. And that season, Wolves got to the FA Cup semi-final for the first time in 21 years. And Nuno Sancho has done a pretty good job at Wolves, so you've got to give him credit. He has been Wolves manager now for quite a few years, Nuno Sancho. Wolves is the 4th club in his managerial career. Before he was at Wolves, he was at Porto. Before then, he was at Valencia. And before then, he was at Rio Ave. Was Nuno Sancho. And Wolves have got some good players. You know, Raul Jimenez, he's one of their key players. But he's not going to be available for tonight because he's out with injuries out till mid-January. Adama Traore, he's one of their key players. Den Donker, he's one of their key players. He's been out with injury recently. Ruben Neves is one of their key players. Moutinho's one of their key players. Neto's definitely one of their key players. He's a very, very good winner. They've got Connor Cody. He's one of their key players. They've got that Johnny. He's out with injury, though. They brought quite a few players in earlier on this year, did Wolves. They brought Fabio Silva in. They brought Nelson Semedo in from Barcelona. They brought whoever in. They brought Fernando Markel in. They brought Matheson in from Rochdale. They brought Vittiner in. So there you go. And don't forget, during the summer, they let Diego Jota go to Liverpool. They also let Matt Doherty go to Tottenham. They're sitting like, is it 11th in the league now? Wolves. But if we do beat Wolves, it will be our 3rd win at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. I give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference yesterday. Obviously, he was talking about Edinson Cavani in that. He said that Edinson Cavani is definitely a starter for Manchester United. And he mentioned that Man United want to extend his contract. When we got him on a free transfer on deadline day during the summer, he signed a 1-year contract with an option of a 2nd year. And Solskjaer revealed the first thing that Cavani asked him when he came, and that's whether he could wear the famous number 7 shirt. Obviously, he mentioned Luke Shaw as well during the press conference, saying like he's created a good relationship with Marcus Rashford on that left-hand side. He said he's a talented boy. There were a few of the stuff he did say regarding Luke Shaw. He obviously lauds Harry Maguire for playing more minutes than anyone in the world of 2020. And he said he's a very, very strong character. And he mentioned that Harry Maguire has improved. And Wan-Bissaka should be available for tonight's game. Ollie has confirmed he's been in training. But Victor Lindelof is a doubt because he went off injured in our 2-2 draw with Leicester. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.